What happens to fallen leaves? Today we're going to do a science inquiry project on learning about decomposition and what happens to those leaves when they fall to the ground.
Alright, so some of our learning objectives today include essential questions as well as learning objectives. Let's go over our essential questions first. Where do fallen leaves go? What conditions make food mold the fastest? Which conditions stop mold from growing? Our learning objectives for today are: I can predict what will happen to food energy when it decomposes. I can carry out an experiment that demonstrates decomposition. I can differentiate what happens. I can evaluate the process of my decomposing by checking the status of my experiment. Moving on, we can go to our Engage tab. What do you know about leaves and mushrooms? So you'll see down here there's a Science Interactive Notebook link. Students will click on that and fill out a KWL chart. And then we will come back to this Prezi tab and watch this video called The Dirt on Decomposers. It's kid-friendly and very informative, not too long. And then we will go back. So our key terms that students will be recording in their notebooks are system, decomposer, food chain, nutrients, mold, and fungi. We will then move out of that tab and into the tab titled How does this relate to the food we eat every day? And students will have an opportunity to answer this question in their science investigation notebook.
Hey guys, so we're going to move into our Explore tab. And I want you guys to think about, imagine that you're going to go camping for a couple weeks and you're not going to have this refrigerator with you that we have at our house. So I want you to think what kinds of food you would want to bring with you and what you might do to keep that food from decomposing or keep it from going bad or molding. And you're going to take a few minutes and write some of your thoughts down in your active notebook. And then after you've done that, we're going to move on to the next part here. This investigation tab here. And we're going to be exploring how food decomposes over time and how mold grows. So you're going to use a mold growth data form up on one of our Google slides here, and we're going to watch it grow and track how it grows. So this is the form that you guys will be using. So you guys will be separated into breakout rooms and kind of work through the forms together. Okay, so we're going to be building a mold terrarium, and we're going to test different kinds of conditions. We're going to test different foods that are exposed with sugar, some with salt, some with saliva, and then we'll have a control one that doesn't have anything on it so that we can see how the different foods grow with mold. And then if you guys want, you can click on the link down here and it gives you a little bit more explanation on how that will work out. I'll give you a little bit more detailed explanation. Okay. So you're going to discuss how you can test the food, different kinds of things that you can do. You'll need a paper plate, some tape, a marker, banana, apple, bread, and cheese, and some water. You're going to label the bag with the condition name. So your bag will read either salt, it'll read sugar, it'll read saliva, or it'll read your control. You're going to dip each piece of food into water just a little bit, and you put it on your plate, and then you're going to sprinkle your fruit with whatever control thing you've chosen to do. And then you'll want to put all the food so that it's touching, not overlapping on your plate, and put it inside a Ziploc bag where it's going to live for the next 2 weeks. And make sure that you label the bag exactly with what is in it, what you put on the food, and tape it shut so that none of the smells and bugs and things contaminate it or leak out. And then you'll follow the information in your science notebooks. You're going to be recording for today. You'll record what it looks like today, and then you'll be checking it every day for the next 2 weeks and reporting on there how it changes.
Okay, so as you're tracking your progress and collecting your data each day over the next 12 days, notice over the next 12 days these things as you check in to the breakout rooms with your classmates that's in your team on your inquiry team. So you're going to look at what colors do you see every day, what shapes do you see daily, what textures are you seeing, how are your foods changing, or how are they not changing based on the condition that you're testing. And then you're going to draw or take pictures that you are noticing every day and add those daily to your mold investigation form, and we'll make sure that that is included in your science investigation notebook. So in breakout rooms, you're going to work with 4 people as we break out in class. And so you're able to continue this experiment on your own, but still with the team and from a remote learning opportunity. While you are spending time in class, if you are completed with your elaborating and collecting your data, you can move into the Read tab. There is a supportive reading material here called Pet Cemetery on ReadWorks that you can read and gain a historical perspective on mold and preservation. Just follow this link here. We do have additional reading materials that you can read for grade level and differentiation as well. Also, in between your breakout room activity, to expand on your knowledge, watch this video of food decomposing in this bowl of fruit. It's really, really creepy and a little bit scary to see what happens to food as it decomposes. When you watch the beginning of the video and then you watch the progression of it, it really shrinks down, and you should be able to see some of this kind of decomposition and the change process happening with your own food. And as you watched in the video on Mystery Science that introduced the whole idea of what mold is, all mold is itty bitty tiny mushrooms, and you're going to see these tiny mushrooms growing in this bowl of fruit as it's decomposing. Last, spend some time doing some research in between your investigation that you're doing on mold. Do some research on mold and ask yourself these questions. Take notes in your interactive notebook and add as many tabs as you need to it. Does mold help human beings? Read this link here on madscientist.org on bread mold, and then go to this link also on madscience.org. How does mold help humans? Take a few notes because you're going to need this as you do your summary project to wrap up this activity. Last step is to evaluate. So, what does happen to fallen leaves? Did this investigation help you learn what happens to food and other green materials as they begin to decompose, as well as human life or animal forms? What did you learn? What surprised you? How could you have improved your test? Revisit your KWL in your investigation notebook. By now, you should have this completely filled out, but you're going to go back and you're going to answer the L part of what did you learn in your interactive notebook during this inquiry. I would like you to do these 3 activities as your assessment. Start with sharing your thoughts. Your team, your inquiry team, is going to join together and create a news release on the results of your observation. Answer the question prompts that are in the Flipgrid and share what you learned. Use data and information from the research that you collected in the mold readings, in the Pet Cemetery reading, in the mold information from Mad Science website, as well as from the videos that you watched. Make sure that you use key terms as well in this Flipgrid because you're creating a news broadcast, and people need to be educated and know what's going on, right? To review before your final assessment, go to this Key Ideas with Kahoot. Use this link to go to the Kahoot It, and use this game pin to be able to participate. You can use a code name, or you can use your real name, and you'll answer 10 questions at this challenge based on reviewing the concepts from this decomposition activity. Lastly, follow up with your final assessment. Follow this link to the lesson assessment. It is a Google form. You will open this assessment and you will complete the questions provided. It's going to load slow. You will complete the questions provided in the Google slide assessment to test your knowledge and see how well you have learned, how much you've learned about what happens to fallen leaves and other decomposers.